I've got a really cool property out in Bonner County, Idaho. This is on the south end of Lake Pend Oreille. Just to keep in mind, these are actual photos of the property as well. So if you're not familiar with this part of the country, you should familiarize yourself with it. This is one of my favorite areas of the country to do land deals, and land's not getting any cheaper out here. So if you're somebody looking for a cabin up in North Idaho, looking for a place to park your RV, to build a tiny home, even put a yurt up, this is going to check a lot of those boxes. You're back within the national forest, surrounded by national forest. There's a really cool lodge nearby you could probably grab a beer at, maybe rent a jet ski, maybe even get a boat slip. I don't know. I'll show you what this area has to offer. I'm going to show you the property on satellite imagery, and I'm going to cover a lot of common questions and really help you understand what we're selling in a piece of land in this video. So again, just a beautiful part of the country. If you haven't been out here, it's magical. It's extremely private, it's extremely rural, and you're up in North Idaho. It is a really, really fun part of the country to be in. And land ownership is few and far between out here. So you can see we've got about 0.6 acres. You've got easy road access to the property as well. I'll show you it right here too. So let's dive into the property a little bit more on satellite imagery. So you can see there's roads accessing the property. This is up in Lakeview, Idaho. So again, you're on the south end of Lake Pend Oreille. Let me give you a bird's eye view and let me show you what it looks like even on a map. So this is where we're at in the country, up in North Idaho. This is Sandpoint, Idaho. This is Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. You're kind of smack dab between the two. This is Bayview, Idaho. And again, this is like Lakeview. So Lakeview is kind of cool because you have like public docks and stuff. Like what makes being back here in this area really cool is like you do have really good lake access. So not only are you tucked away on the south end of Lake Pend Oreille, you have all the access to the lake at the same time. Like you're just a hop, skip, and a jump away from accessing the lake here. And this is a really, really cool part of the lake. This is a public access dock. So like I said, maybe you can work something out with the lodge. I don't know. I haven't really done that research. It's just something I thought of when I started this video. But the reason I'm showing you these photos is to give you an idea. This is what people are doing back here. If you want to go romp around on quads, if you want to go be remote and alone in the woods, like without being too far away from amenities, this is definitely going to check those boxes. Like you're in a world-class part of the country, and there's no denying that. I mean, look at these photos. This is truly something else, isn't it? So let's get back out a little bit. This is a little town of Lakeview. Like there's a lot going on back here. And like I said, let me show you, here's a lookout too. Like this is what you're dealing with. Like this is the part of the country you're in. You're right inside of the national forest too. So let's show you the property here on satellite imagery. Let me pull up the GPS coordinates and I'll show it to you on satellite imagery. I'll go back to satellite imagery here. This is the piece of land that we're selling. Right? So you've got almost a half an acre right here. To me, the target audience is like, you're going to put some gravel down, you're going to park your camper. You're going to park an RV, maybe you're going to build some sort of tree fort, some sort of tiny cabin out here. You don't have a massive 10 or 20 acre property, but you've got enough to build a fun recreational spot for the weekends or for vacation out here. You could even live full time. This is what somebody did up here. There are people developing and building. You can see that here on satellite imagery. Okay, here's a little cabin right here, some sort of development there too. Here's somebody use their property like that. So these give you like an idea of what's possible on these type of properties. Okay. The other cool thing I noticed about the area is here's Lakeview. So you've got some of these amenities over here in Lakeview, and there's like a lodge. Let's see if we can find this lodge that I was talking about. So here's the public dock. The lodge might be a little further away. Let's see if I can find that thing. I believe it was right in here. Usually there's like it denotes the lodge. It might be in our listing actually. So Gold Creek Lodge serves as a hub for adventurers who come to enjoy everything the region has to offer. Powers available to road. So that's all pretty awesome, right? There's no HOA, no restrictive rules on this property. All really good things. That's what people are looking for. Let's look up Gold Creek Lodge and see where that is. I believe it's right next to it. I wrote that in there actually, in Bayview. Yeah, it is. It's right here. So again, like we talk about who's the target audience, like this is the target audience, and I just want to give you an idea like of what you can expect like with a property like this, Not everybody has lakefront real estate on Lake Pend Oreille, right? So people are going to these lodges and they're taking their motorcycles, their dirt bikes, their Jeeps, they're dropping their boats down at the public boat launch, right? And what's cool about the Bayview Lodge is like you can go grab a beer, you can grab a burger. So what we're offering is this cool little remote half an acre property that feels like you're in the middle of nowhere. You're within massive cedar trees. It's a really cool part of the country. You can see that in the photos on our listing, right? Like there's no denying that this is a really cool property. You're thick in the trees. You're private at nighttime. It's going to be cool night skies, but at the same time, you have access to Gold Creek Lodge. You could walk to this lodge. You could hop on a quad or a dirt bike, just like these guys are doing, and get over to the lodge, right? During the winter, people are snowmobiling back here. So this is a year-round property. This really is a vacation property, someplace what I think would make a cool Airbnb, a cool tiny home, maybe some sort of A-frame back here, or even just a glorified spot for your camper or your RV. That's really how we're angling this land investment, and this is Gold Creek Lodge. So if you're into this area, this part of the country, this is going to be one of the most affordable options you're going to find out there. You're not finding, if you're looking at the North Idaho market, there's nothing under 100 grand. Like you're not getting cool real estate in North Idaho for 65 grand or less, right? Whatever we have this listed for. And like the reason we list properties at this price point is because we're in the business of moving land fast. How do you do that? You have to offer attractive prices. So I think the lodge actually like really screams like who's the target audience. If you want to stay at this lodge, then you should, you want to buy this property. You want to build your own little lodge on it, right? So I think it goes to show like sharing this is really valuable. There's going to be a ton of hiking, a ton of trails you can go out here and explore on. And you've got the lodge to grab a burger, grab a beer, go drop your boat at the public boat launch that we talked about just down here in Lakeview, right? Like there's going to be a lot of opportunities for somebody to take advantage of. You could maybe even hop on Street Views. It looks like not, but yeah, you've got the public dock here, again, to access the water, just not too far away from the land, which is right here. The last thing I wanted to show you is get this property pulled up on satellite imagery. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy these GPS coordinates. This is my favorite app to use for land viewings, is just plugging in these coordinates, just like this, and you can see the property is located right like that. It's really easy to go view a property when you have this app and you're just plugging in the coordinates. I use Onyx Hunt. There is a blog on our website talking about how to use Onyx Maps. So keep that in mind. You can read through that blog on that too. And again, as I zoom out, you're surrounded by over 86,000 acres of Kootenai National Forest. So, and that actually extends over to Coeur d'Alene National Forest, right? Like as I zoom out, this is all national forest around you. Like you're in an extremely private spot. This little niche of land right here is the only private land ownership that exists out here. Here's Gold Creek Lodge. You can see that spread from satellite imagery. Okay, it's really close to the property, right? If we go back to the property, you're right by Gold Creek Lodge right here. And then you're really close to the Lakeview landing down here, with that public boat launch down here. So I think this is a special land investment, and I want to talk about access next. So your access is listed here. It's located on Big Buck Road, West Gold coming in. I wish I was coming in from the southwest. Bunko High Drive takes you to West Gold Road, and that takes you all the way to the land. Coming in from the north along the east side of the lake, that would be 278 Johnson Lakeview Road. Go past the Gold Creek Lodge, and it brings you back up north to West Gold B, and that takes you to the land. So again, you can come in from over here on West Gold Road. So I'm going to walk you through it real quick. So here's West Gold Road. I'm going to take you in. Here's the land. You can come in this way on 2707B. It's West Gold B Road. And that's going to turn into West Gold 2707. And really you take West Gold all the way out here. It's West Gold. And that keeps coming into this trailhead on East Bunko Drive. So it starts over here on Bunko, and West Gold goes all the way. So you take Bunko all the way to Bunko High Drive over to West Gold, which is right here. And that takes you, again, all the way up to the land, West Gold. So you can come in from the north, actually, which looks a little bit longer. I mean, you get on... At some point, I believe you get on this road right here, Johnson Lakeview Drive. You can connect onto Johnson Lakeview Drive from way over here. So this is Johnson Lakeview Drive, I believe. right here, this road 278, you get in over at Johnson Creek area, which is cool, and you take this road all the way back here, basically Johnson Lakeview Drive, and that's, you pass. See if I can reorient. You come along the east side lake. It's kind of a long way, and then you come through Lakeview basically, and then you would go by the lodge and then turn back around, and that brings you back up to the property, if you can tell right there. I know it's hard to follow what I'm doing on my computer, but again, the directions are written in the listing there. If you can get to Lakeview Landing, you can get to the property, right? So, make sure you study your directions before you go to a property like this. Reach out to us if you have any questions. I do have some other deals in Montana, Idaho, places like that. If you have any questions, you can reach us here at 605-299-5553. Thanks for tuning in.